Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is episode 8, and it is 8. I have checked this time of the PP podcast.
8 episodes. I mean, I didn't back us to get
Yeah.
through the first one, so I'm impressed that we're on episode 8.
No, I'm impressed that we've dedicated, or rather committed to this every week. Because normally when we commit to something, well, maybe not all the time, but sometimes it can be a bit of a you do it a couple of times and then you're like, and then you move on.
Yeah.
But no, I
Yeah.
think we've shown all of our dear listeners at home that we really care about getting our thoughts out to them over the waves.
Over the waves. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh dear.
everybody's had like those conversations, right, where you're like, oh, we should really do whatever, start
X.
a podcast.
Yeah.
We should have a YouTube channel. Or, we should stream. And
I've had many of those conversations with Bill.
yeah. It's rare that you actually follow through. So I'm proud of us.
Exactly. We've done good.
So our last episode we kind of didn't talk about films at all. So I feel like we should open
We did not.
with talking about some films. And I know on my end,
I think we should.
I did my homework. I went away and I watched Alien Resurrection. And
Makes me very happy. I don't care what you think of the movie. I'm just glad that you've experienced it.
I completely see what you meant and why I should dedicate the time.
Yeah.
And I did agree that in some ways it was more worth my time than Alien 3 because it was less.
Oh, cool.
It was less bland.
Yes,
for sure.
That's a good word.
But it was not good. Let's just make sure everybody knows that it's a bad film.
Yes, it is. It's one of the worst films I've seen, but it's still 3 stars because I enjoyed it so goddamn much.
I think the thing for me is that it just like if you imagine films as a person, right? Like imagine Alien 1, the first day, like Alien, watching the subsequent films that come after, and just thinking, my God, like the tone of the first film is entirely what makes it. It's this kind of serious, like horror element. Two completely veers away from that and goes with this kind of action.
Yeah.
But it still does have some of the horror. Like it deals with it through action.
It's still got some,
but it has that tension.
Yeah.
And then you come to what we're at by the time we're in the 4th film. We don't even need to talk about 3. We mentioned it before. Like
we've done it. We've done 3.
There's very little to say that we didn't say before. Like 4 is just such a shit show by comparison. Like it's so goofy and stupid, and like how are they films in the same franchise?
I don't understand. It's I mean, it's I honestly I have a lot to say, and then I also find myself struggling to find the words because I really like the new crew, like the sort of mercenary smuggler types, and then you've got the stupid military and the science people who think they can control the aliens and obviously won't be able to. And obviously it all just sort of compounds into this goofy mess. But I did find myself enjoying different set pieces or different bits. Like I loved Ron Perlman and the French dude from Amelie. Just like they're like just hating each other, and then getting into the end of the movie and like a bromance has formed. And even though it's probably like maybe from an objective standpoint bad, I loved it and I really like enjoyed those two.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
was actually left wishing that it wasn't an Alien film. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah. No, that's a good way to think
when
about
I
it.
came to the end of it, I was just thinking, if this had not been part of the Alien franchise, and it had been kind of like a spoof almost, or just
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
goofy kind of take on, because the idea of these aliens in um, like this alien race that's dangerous, and the government want to study it, and that's not like unique to Alien. So you definitely could do your own take on that. So if they'd have
Yeah,
taken
yeah.
the same cast, pretty much, you've got like Ron Perlman, the guy from Amelie, and Winona Ryder,
Winona
in
Ryder.
particular.
Yeah.
Just have her be the robot from the start. Have those guys with their love-hate relationship, and just lean into that. This really stupid, goofy film fighting these aliens. I think I'd have enjoyed it more, because the bits I didn't like was like the whole, like, they brought Ripley back, and she's like lying in this on top of this, alien queen, because she's now, one of them, and the new thing thinks she's its mum. It was just
Oh
too
god,
much, right? When they're trying to,
it's awful. It's so
but
bad.
for me, it just was bad, because they were trying to pull
Yeah,
from Alien. This is what they were turning Alien into. Whereas I think if you'd have leaned in, gone the other way, ditched Alien, and just like everything about it is stupid, you know, I
yeah, yeah,
think it
yeah.
actually would have been a better film.
Yeah, I think if I mean I won't lie, I kind of like the new Ripley in that she's like really sarcastic, and she's a bit of a weirdo. Like I enjoyed it because it was entertaining to watch. I don't think it's good. And also you've got to mention the basketball scene where Sigourney Weaver legit in one take did the backwards throw
Oh, really?
and got it in the net. She actually just nailed it in one take, just straight face, just went bam.
Oh, that is
Which is you got to
incredible.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Like fucking love that girl. That's impressive. Um, but you're right in that if you just literally took out Ripley and made the aliens not the aliens we know, but just some other shit, that movie automatically gets better because it means it's not in the same franchise, and you don't have all these expectations that you have of alien movies and stuff. So I agree with you there, and the fact that it is an alien movie, which means that Ripley comes back. She's half alien, half human. She has acidic blood or whatever. The alien queen births the hybrid, which has got to be like the weirdest, most like gross, bad-looking thing I've ever seen.
And that is one
And
gross franchise, like.
yeah, like fucking hell. One thing that's got to be said is that it was cool that they killed it by making a hole in the window, and then it gets like sucked out from the like, how it
Oh,
gets its
but
body pressed
even
against.
even
That was
that
so
scene
gross. Even
is
I gipped a bit.
it's just so like, just its stupid fucking face, like staring out
Just
at you while it's like being
yeah.
sucked through this like penny-sized hole in the. Oh,
Oh god.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a bit ridiculous. Just
It's fucking stupid. I will rewatch that movie at some point though. Like that for me, that movie is like it's a so bad it's good. It's a room. It's Pacific Rim. It's one of those that I know it's not fantastic, or in the room's case, obviously it's horrific, but that's why it's so good.
yeah,
Um, but if I just want a dumb sci-fi action movie, I'll just watch that.
yeah,
Like if I just want to waste 2 hours in like a year or two, like I already know that I'm gonna have a good time.
yeah, yeah.
Holy shit, it's bad
If
though.
you
It's really bad in it.
so another film that is kind of stupid. It's not on the levels of Alien Resurrection, but there's a film
How could it be?
there's a film from the '60s called Queen of Blood.
Queen of Blood.
So this is
okay.
the director of that movie claims that it inspired Alien.
Oh, he claims, does
Yeah,
he?
yeah. If you so the film is set like these guys go to Mars, um,
Oh wow.
and they find this Martian alien, which is a woman painted green, right? Like it's proper
Oh wow.
60s. There's like no budget for special effects. CGI is not a thing. So aliens
Right,
are
right, right.
humans in makeup, right?
Got you.
Um,
Cool.
but so like she's this like vampiric alien that can like hypnotize, um, and it's like got that alien vibe of, oh no, it's on the ship with
Okay.
us, um,
I love that, to be fair.
and like there's a scientist on Earth who's pushing for her to be brought back, and it should be studied. The people on the ship think she's too dangerous.
Right, right, right.
So it does have like the same. You could definitely describe both the story of that and of Alien, and like you wouldn't know
Yeah.
which you were talking about if you like remove enough details.
Oh god.
But it is so just camp 60s sci-fi.
It looks amazing
Yeah.
from what I've just seen, and I'm looking at the rest of the movies this guy's made, and I mean, I want to watch all of them, and I in particular want to watch Killer Bees, and this is the blurb or whatever you call it. She controls the bees. They'll kill for her and die for her. She's their queen, and she'll live forever. And then the plot, it says a strong-willed woman not only dominates her family of California wine growers, but also has a strange hold on a colony of bees in her vineyards. Like, what the fuck? That sounds so good.
Oh god.
Like, I'm gonna watch some of these movies because I read a lot of campy, pulpy sci-fi books, but I don't. I need to get into the movies because there's some fucking amazing shit that's happening. What happened?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I absolutely love like goofy 50s and 60s sci-fi.
Oh, it's good, man.
It's something that I put on in the background a lot, or like not necessarily like to ignore, but it's something you don't need to pay attention to start to finish. So like if I'm drawing and I want a film on, it's great. And I have like such a soft spot. A lot of them are terrible, and some of them are just bad, not even like so bad it's good. But I have a real soft spot for like that whole genre, like horror sci-fi, um, kind of actually from like the 30s as well. There's quite a few like just as they're coming out of silent films when you've got like the original Dracula and Frankenstein
Right,
and
right.
those actors going and the Mummy all around that time. So yeah, I definitely would. There's definitely quite a few recommendations I have from those like
Brilliant.
genres and times, and it's so easy. You just Google like 1960s sci-fi, and you just the whole page full of stupid options is there for you to pick
Yeah.
from.
I'm gonna make that my mission to get more into that kind of thing because I already know that I love it from the ones that I've watched or the books I've read. So it's time to go hard, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you fancy starting, Queen of Blood is like
Queen
a
of Blood.
fairly short film and just stupid, and you'll probably like the comparisons to Alien. And once you've seen
Yeah.
it, the director claiming that it inspired Alien will be all the funnier.
I'm gonna watch that and then Killer Bees by the same guy, so that I get a full palette of this nutter.
Yeah, I might have to watch Killer Bees now. I've not seen it. I'll
It looks horrific.
Yeah, just
Oh
don't
dear.
look at the ratings for these movies because
Oh, I already have, and
people
it's what I expected.
people are not kind.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, sounds.
So
Um,
yeah, that's what I've been up to. I did my homework, watched some goofy films. Um,
fuck yeah.
what have you been watching? What films have you got through?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, still goofy, but more well made and directed and written and shot, but still with that goofy tone a little bit. Because I watched two Wes Anderson movies, and he is like, I don't think he's made a bad movie because each one, even if it's like not amazing, it's still a nice little romp every time because it's pretty, it's shot well, all the characters are full of personality and quirks, and he treats it like a play, and he always has like curtains closing and drawing to like simulate the scenes and stuff. um and I've watched a fair few of his movies now, and I love quite a lot of them. Grand Budapest Hotel, which I know you've seen,
Love
that is
that film.
like start to finish, like insanely good.
That's one of the
Can't get enough of that.
it's one of the first films, or possibly the first film that I watched, and like I could see how the camera work improved the film,
Yeah, yeah,
and actually like enjoyed the cinematography of it. Um, there's other films I've
definitely.
seen where that impacted and I didn't realize, like 12 Angry Men that we spoke about before. I think is a great
Yes,
example of good camera work.
definitely.
But yeah, Grand Budapest, just like even some like really simple movements, the way the characters look, then the camera moves, and it just is all
Yeah,
set up so well. When the camera is still, when he chooses to move the camera, um, and that's with one watch, right? Like he's
yeah,
so striking that I have only seen that film once, and I can picture specific scenes and motions, and um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how much it impressed upon me watching it. So I need to watch that film again. Really.
It's great. It's so good. Um,
You'd watch some others as well, right? That I haven't seen.
yeah. Um, I have watched. Bear with me. I'm awful at remembering things off the top of my head. I've watched.
What, you
I've
haven't come
smoked too
prepped and
much.
rehearsed entirely for these podcasts? You're just talking off the top of your head.
So, crikey. I have watched up to now. So I've watched Grand Budapest Hotel. I've watched the Darjeeling Limited, which was amazing. I think you really like that. That's got um, fucking hell, what they're called? Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, Jason
Wow.
Schwartzman. It's the boys, and it's them on a train called the Darjeeling Limited in India, going like across the country, and it's really funny. It's really heartfelt. Like I really really liked it. Um, and then I've seen the ones that I've not seen that I need to get on is obviously Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Um, but recently I watched Rushmore and Moonrise Kingdom, and Rushmore was like the first. It's the second movie he made, but it's the one that sort of got him all the acclaim, and everyone was like, "Wow, look how like striking his movies are and how much energy they have." And it's all about this prep school called Rushmore in Houston, I think, and Jason Schwartzman's like the main character, and it's basically how he's flunking all of his classes because he just does all these extracurricular activities, and he falls in love with one of the primary school teachers, and his best friend is Bill Murray, who's like a depressed industrialist whose two sons go to the same school, and obviously Bill Murray falls in love with the teacher as well, and it just plays out over
Obviously.
90 minutes. Yeah, but it's just Wes Anderson, and I can see why at the time everyone was suddenly like, "Oh my god, this dude!" Like every part of the movie is striking and has energy, but just the way that it's arranged or how it looks, and obviously all the characters are like bizarre people, um, and one of the best bits is when the kid finds out that Bill Murray's been seeing the teacher who he loves, and they basically just like keep trying to take revenge on each other, and it like escalates and escalates. So at first, I think the kid puts bees in Bill Murray's hotel room because he's like the founder of the bee society at school, and Bill
Of
Murray's like
course.
that little shit, but he's smiling. And then Bill Murray takes the kid's bike and runs it over with his car and then puts it back. And then after that, I think what happened? Oh, the kid cuts the brakes on Bill Murray's car. Bill Murray nearly kills people in his car, and then they stop. And the kid's at his like mum's grave or whatever, and he's like told Bill Murray to come and see him. And Bill Murray's like, "Oh, like, are we done then?" And then the kid's like, "Yeah, no, like, I was gonna have that tree fall on you and kill you, but I kind of stopped." And they don't really resolve anything, but they both kind of leave. And then like a second later, the tree just goes whoa, and just like crushes like no one, but just falls over obviously. So yeah, it's just like a wacky zany movie, and it's great. And then
I really like
I
Bill
think
Murray actually
yeah,
as a
Bill Murray's fucking good. He's so good in everything.
the one that sprang to mind only because I've seen it most recently is Zombieland.
Oh, Zombieland's great. The first one at least, yeah.
I liked the second one as well actually.
I've only got through 15 minutes of it because my connection cut out, so I need to finish it. But yeah, the first one I know that I love
the
for
the
sure.
second one has like yeah, they talk about Bill Murray again, and I just yeah, I love
Good
both
stuff.
those movies, and I think the fact that Bill Murray is in them, and the character he plays in them, which is just himself,
Yeah,
it just yeah makes those films. Those are two really good fun films.
definitely. Like yeah, good fun movies for sure. Um, and then Bill Murray is also in Moonrise Kingdom, which is set on some islands near New England in America in '65, and it's all about like the scout, like Boy Scouts and stuff like that. Um, but it's basically the story of how one of the troops quits and runs away with the girl that he's fallen in love with, and they're both 12. And obviously, like, it's all about these kooky people that live on the islands together. So Bill Murray's the father of the daughter that's run away. Um, you've got Edward Norton is like one of the scout leaders, and then you've
Okay.
got Bruce Willis is the island police, and you've just got it's like an ensemble cast because it always is. Oh god, oh god. And again, probably not. I don't think I've watched one since, apart from maybe the Darjeeling Limited, that's reached the heights of Grand Budapest Hotel. But because that one's a
Okay.
5 star. But every single one that I have watched is a 4 star because every time I'm like,
Mm.
they're just so good, and every time I get something out of them. So I think Wes Anderson's
Yeah.
easily one of the best guys I've watched.
I guess in some ways, when the filmmaking is when you first encounter it, and it's new,
Yeah.
then it has that bigger impact on you. I found that
Yes,
I
definitely.
think I've found that quite a bit with Hitchcock actually, because I've seen quite a lot of
Okay.
Hitchcock's films now, probably about 20 or so. Um,
Wow. What the hell?
but definitely the first. There's definitely some instances that really stand out, and they are. There's some that I've watched recently that I think really stood out to me. But I think there's a
Yeah.
couple as well where if that had been the first one I'd seen, it would have been a 5 out of 5, and I'd be raving about it.
Right.
But
Right.
because the style itself is now familiar to me, it doesn't elevate it in the same way. So there's some you watch where actually now it's maybe just okay because
Yeah.
The style you've seen in other films that did it better and had better plots. Because
I get you.
he was such a prolific director that
Did a lot, right?
so many. Like I've watched more of his films than probably any other director, and yet I've not seen even
Mm-hmm.
half of the films he put out. I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy, that, isn't it?
So obviously, in amongst them, there's some like naff or mediocre ones, but
Some shades are in there.
Also some really excellent ones.
Yeah, I think it's just with Grand Budapest Hotel. I think like all the things that I love about Anderson's movies, I think they all just hit this peak in that movie compared to the other ones. Um, I think it also, I don't know, there's just something about it. I think I like the color scheme, the color palette in that one, how everything was like pink or yellow or whatever,
It is.
and
It is just so good to look at,
it just
and
makes me feel so
interesting.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just love that particular story of the hotel with uh, Ray Fiennes and I can't remember his name, but obviously it's like being told like the story's past, and obviously the Indian or the Bangladeshi, can't remember his name. I apologise. Obviously, he then becomes the boss, but it's so sad. It's so fucking sad, that movie at the
Yeah.
end. Um, and yeah, there's just something about it. Yeah, overall, I'd say Anderson's a fucking top fucking guy.
Yeah, I might have to
And
venture
I'll
out
probably just
into more of his films.
there's a couple that I don't like and that I've actually not been able to finish.
Oof.
Which was the the Royal Tenenbaums, which is all about like a quirky family of like 8 people and all why they all fell out with each other and stuff. And it just I watched a good hour of it and it just didn't click. But that's still one, two, three, four. Out of the 5 movies that I've seen, there's only one that I wasn't really into. So that's still a pretty good record, I reckon. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I watched this week. Those two.
Yeah. There we are. Some Wes Anderson.
Some Wes Anderson.
It is interesting when a director has a defined style that. So I think some people can talk. Like, I mean, you watch a film critic, people can talk about the styles of directors, and it
Yeah,
starts to make sense to you. Like I watched
yeah,
one the other day on Nolan, who I like, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you distinctive elements of his filmmaking just off the top of my head.
yeah,
Whereas directors like Wes Anderson and Hitchcock, um,
it's clear.
I think you can, even if you're not that into films, if you've watched a couple of their movies, you could pick out why, or at least you
Yeah,
would feel that they are fundamentally different from just a standard film.
yeah. I mean, after two of Anderson's, it was like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. This is why. Trying to think of another one that I sort of recognise as style, because with those ones it's quite obvious, but then with others it's obviously like Nolan. I wouldn't know the methods or like the specific terminology, other than his movies are like big and grand, sometimes confusing and elaborate. Other than that, I wouldn't really know how to like penetrate what he does specifically that makes them that way. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot of directors I like, and I think they certainly go for. But I'd find it hard to articulate what it is. Like I couldn't tell you
oh
if it is the camera work or if it is the.
yeah, I've got one definitely that I've already talked about a bit, but Bong Joon-ho, the Korean dude who won the Oscar for Parasite,
Yeah.
having watched now, Have I watched? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've watched 4 of his movies. That motherfucker has got a style, and it's very good. And it's always his movies are like have this tension and dread, but also have a bit of comedy and a bit of slapstick here and there. And they always talk about social issues like class and wealth, and in terms of South Korea specifically, US influence or like intervention and the relationship between the two of them. Like, yeah, he's one that I can pick out and be like, I know his shit, and I enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch more of his films. I've only seen Parasite.
He's so good. I think everyone I talk to about movies, I probably think I never stop banging on about him, but he is, and I'm so glad that I took that Korean film class in my last year of uni because he's just that good. He's just that good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I will get around to watching some more, and then we can chat. We can just spend a whole episode on. I'll try.
I think we have to. We will have to do an episode.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've chatted a bit about some directors we like. We've made a promise for a future episode that may or may not get fulfilled.
We shall see.
Might be in many episodes' time.
Yes.
If I binge his films or not. But yeah, that is episode 8.
Episode 8.
There we go.
Wowee.